Hey y'all, welcome back to the Clancy Family Homestead. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous morning. It's about 50 degrees out right now. The sun is coming up. I mean, it's stunning. It's not gonna stay like this. It's actually supposed to cool down throughout the day. But looks like we are going into 2025 on a warm note. We had snow up until yesterday, really. It melted all day yesterday. But we actually had quite a bit of snow, and now it's pretty much all gone. And if anything, like there's a little bit in the pastures out there, that little bit of snow will definitely be gone today. But I want to go let out the chickens, and I figured I'd bring you guys along. Obviously, on that note, we are heading into 2025. Today is Monday the 30th, so tomorrow is New Year's Eve, which is crazy. It just doesn't seem like it's possible that it's already going to be 2025. But I wanted to kind of run down our plans for 2025, my goals. Obviously, if you guys have been following, you know things are going to be very different for me this year. Number one goal for 2025 is to sell our house, get our house sold, and find our dream property, find our property that is going to be able to be made into our forever home. We're not looking for a perfect house. We're not looking for something that is, a mansion. We're not looking for anything like that, anything fancy. We are looking for something with a lot of land. We're really hoping for a property with 50 plus acres, and an older house that we can fix up and remodel over time, to make it our dream home, make it our, the perfect house. But we don't need it perfect right now. We can live with it being, it needing work. So that is number one goal, is get this house sold and then find our property. That's really two goals, but number one is sell this house, and number two is find our new property. Oh, it is, because it melted, the snow melted, and it's warm, it is a muddy mess back here. You guys want to come out? They went running. There must be something good over that way. Or they're just that happy that it's nice out. Hi, ducks! This is our chick that hatched out this year. Look how pretty she is. I'm obsessed with her. I think she's gorgeous. These ducks are almost 5 years old. They are ancient in duck world. All right, so what else are our goals for 2025? Honestly, beyond finding the house, there's not a lot. I'm really starting to learn more about the permaculture principles, including observe, which they talk about observing your property for 2 years before you really start making any changes. I am definitely not patient enough to wait 2 years. Plus, if I wait 2 years to plant fruit trees, so that's 2 more years I have to wait for production, because that can take anywhere from 3 to 5 years to start having production. I don't necessarily want to wait 2 years, but we don't plan on planting much of anything this first year. Possibly some fruit trees and things, but we really do want to take the time to learn our property, observe it, live there, see where the sun is, see where the soil stays wet, gets dry, see where wildlife are moving through, things like that, before we really start planting anything. Also, I want to plan out permaculture zones, so putting things in spaces that make sense. But prepping areas for gardening for the next year will be a focus of mine if we get into a property soon enough. But that's not going to be putting up structures, tilling, anything like that. I'd like to hopefully put down a silage tarp if we get to the property early enough in the season, and in the summertime, so that it can kill off grasses and weeds and things, which will just help the next year. But observing that property first and seeing where we really want to put things before we just put things places is really the other biggest goal. Beyond that, I don't have much, because this year I'm not growing my food. We're not going to be raising meat chickens. We probably will get some layers for our new property. I definitely foresee us getting layers before wintertime at the new property, just so we have kind of a head start on them laying. But there's not a lot for 2025. Although it is going to be a huge year, it's just a few things. Normally I come up with goals of like, I want to grow this many plants of this, I want to can this many quarts or pints, or freeze this many, raise this many chickens, all those things, and we just don't have that this year. We're going to be pretty much growing a homestead from the ground up, or starting a homestead from the ground up at our new property. And so taking the time to learn the property is going to be really important. We didn't do that here. And we put things in places that didn't make sense, and then we moved them, which just delays everything and causes issues. So we don't want to go down that road again. We don't want to do that again. We really want to take our time with this next property so that it can be our forever property and produce for us well, with kind of having the least of work needed. With permaculture, you're utilizing nature to grow your food and not fight the conditions, and so observing and everything helps with that. With finding the new property, really we're not looking much. I'm looking some because I can't help it, but my husband's not really looking right now because we do want to wait until this property is sold first. And then the new property, like I've said, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, it just has to have the land. So I'm kind of letting him take the lead on that part. I'm sure I'll send him a million properties, but let him kind of weed them out and decide what ones he actually wants to look at, because the land is what he wants. I can deal with just a couple acres for myself for growing our food, raising our food, all those things. A couple acres is all I need. But he wants land for hunting, and that's what's most important. That's the reason we're moving, is so that we can get hunting land. So I will bring you guys along, on this whole process. We have a few projects to do on this house before we list. We also don't want to list in the wintertime, dead of winter, just because it's not the greatest time for selling a house. But we do plan on listing early spring, and we'll bring you guys along with all that, and obviously finding our new property and figuring everything out, growing our homestead again, all over again from the ground up. Let me know down below what your goals are for 2025. Are you starting a homestead? Are you just planning on growing a garden? Do you have goals for how much food you want to produce this year? Do you have goals for, new livestock, things like that? Let me know. And I hope everyone has a healthy and happy new year. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Remember, we're growing today for a better tomorrow. Please like and subscribe and join me on the next one.